I met a gypsy.
Is there like a pressure from the teams to make that investment in yourself? And it's kind of weird. Like, have you ever thought about it in terms of, let's say, like the NFL? Like in the NFL, Tom Brady ain't paying to use the gym, and he ain't paying to use the field. And it's like, obviously we're comparing apples and oranges, but it's like, I don't think that many people understand the level of investment that moto dudes have to make into their own career at the very top level. And it's like, there's not that many sports that happen in that way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's comparing apples and oranges, because I don't know. I wish we were a little bit more like F1 or MotoGP, where testing and practicing days were like limited. Almost like where we only had certain days on certain tracks and could only ride or test so much. It would definitely level the playing field a bit more. We'd have to get a lot more creative with working on technique and all that stuff. But yeah, you kind of, I never got pressure from teams. It's more pressure from within. Like I said, I knew I wasn't responsible enough, I guess, for lack of a better term, to put my training in if I was writing my own schedule, or if I even had to, if I had like a Monday through Sunday checklist to do. I know I'm not, motivated or responsible enough to get that done on my own. So I want a trainer telling me to do it, and I want a riding coach telling me which laps to do and what I'm doing on the track to make me better. So there's more of a pressure for myself. Like, I know this is the right decision and I should do this, so I'm going to do it.
Man, it's interesting that you say that about MotoGP. Like, I'm really good friends with Jack Miller, and he just rides.
Yeah, I met Jack.
Oh, he's a legend. He just rides moto flat out. Like, just absolutely loves moto.
Yeah.
He's just not on the MotoGP bike that much. And I think the last time I spoke to him, just with COVID, it's been all weird, but he was testing on just like a regular street bike pretty much. And it's just well, everything's jacked up. So, but it's sort of, that's always been one thing that just blows my mind. You'd go to the Stewart compound and you'd watch James pump out these laps, and then you'd watch him just cartwheel, dude. Just body on the line to just this insane degree. And then it's cartwheels this thing, bike's totaled, he drives off, he's going to recovery mode, and then he's just back at the track the next day to pump out the same laps after just this insane crash. The expectation for these guys, for the guys at your level, to be on the bike and just to risk it every single day, it's just dude, it's heavy. It's such a heavy responsibility.
It's no wonder there's so many injuries, right? Because we're going so fast for so many days of the year. It's actually surprised there's not more injuries, really.
Yeah, man. And I'd always have real weird feelings about, from the film side of things, asking riders to do things. I was just it never sat well with me when we'd get given a brief, and Dunge was the best and the worst. Dunge would never do more laps than what he wanted to do. He'd never film anything extra. You could never ask him. But some guys would, Justin Hill would be a guy, if I ever had to film with him, he'd do whatever you wanted. But it always felt weird for me asking guys to do something, because it was just I don't want to be the guy that says hey man, I just need a couple more passes through the whoops, and then a bike locks up, or you're going over the bar, or something happens. You're only a second away from disaster every single time you're on the bike. And to do that over a 10-year career, it's a lot to ask.
No, it is for sure. Definitely. And then, then you go racing and you got 18 other guys next to you that are ready to take you out or whatever. You're just it's high anxiety all the time.
Now that you've been out for a couple of years, what would you change? If you got given just you become Dave Prater and you could make any rule in Supercross, what would you do to try and make the sport better for I guess you're a fan as well as a rider. Like, so what would you do for a fan's perspective, and what would you do for the rider's perspective to make the sport better?
So I've always thought like, so like over the, especially the last decade, the bikes have gotten so fast and the riders have gotten so good that like the last element really is the track. So I always thought like, okay, like why the hell are we quadding things? Like doesn't make any sense to me. Like why not just make the triples bigger? Like I always thought like we should make the jumps like more spaced out and maybe bigger, like as far as like less steep, not less steep, but like more gradual, and then a little bit more spaced out. So like a triple would be as big as you could go, you know, granted you might want to make sure that 250s could still make it, but like a triple in a rhythm section, I'm saying not a regular Supercross triple. But
Yeah.
I always thought that was like, we need to like somehow regulate how big everyone's going, because it'll make it safer. As long as if there's not a quad or some stupid rhythm section on a track, then guys aren't having to risk it. They know like this is the lines that I got to take. These are the big lines. These are the more technical lines. And I think just the way that the tracks are designed, not necessarily built, because the track builders do a really good job, but if they're designed like a 450 can come out of a turn and, you know, in second gear and you can jump 65, 70 feet, like within like,
it's
I don't
pretty
know,
gnarly.
12 feet. Like, yeah, like why not just make the jump that big? I don't want to jump that far and then have to jump like 100-foot quad right after that. Like, I think it could be a little bit more thought out. Just the general track design. And then if guys aren't going as big and the rhythm sections are more regulated, then the racing gets closer, you know, like nobody's doing something extra huge. Well, they don't have a huge advantage. It's just more like, oh, this guy's taking these turns really fast. Well, he's going to be the faster rider. Or, you know, if it's more comparable in speed, then I think the racing will be a little tighter and in the end, a little bit more safe.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, GYPSYTales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the GYPSY Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. GYPSY Gang.